T.R. Vecker said that how we do anything is how we do everything. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 principles so that you can do the kinds of things that are going to cause your life to get into a flow state. Because when you're in a flow state, things work out for you. Things are happening for you. Life is giving you the things you need. You feel good. And the things that you are doing are causing the results that you want. So how you do certain things are going to be how you do everything else. And then you can reverse engineer that so that you get what you want. Because if you do what causes you to have flow in your life, then you will realize that you are in harmony with your purpose. So the first thing that you want to understand is the psychological principle of strategic ignorance. Strategic ignorance is by only focusing on the things that are going to help you to get what you want. It's in a flow state. Most of us have what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. So what do? We watch the news, we check social media, we check our emails, we're checking all the time. We're looking for bits of information that are going to help us to feel good. And it's tapping into our dopamine. But we need to realize that we need to practice this type of ignorance. We need to be ignorant of the small stuff, the things that are urgent. We need to be focusing on what's important. So if we practice strategic ignorance, then we are going to remove distraction, because distraction is today's poison. Distraction goes against focus. And if you don't have focus, guess what? You are going to be off track. And if you're off track, you're not going to feel good. And this keeps on expanding until it gets to a point where you have to do something about it. And it becomes such a pressure cooker. So if you want to have focus, then you have to have strategic ignorance. You have to be ignorant of the things that aren't valuable. I mean, garbage in equals garbage out. So if you take in useless information, whether it's news media, movies, social network posts, any of that stuff that's useless, guess what? It's not going into long-term memory. It's just going to go nowhere. It's going to be useless garbage that you might repeat or share with somebody else, but what's the value? Why would you want to share bits of information that's garbage and useless and not advantageous for your life? So you need to have clear focus, because today's focus is today's IQ. If you don't have focus, you are not moving in the direction that you want to go in. You know, focus is the 21st century skill. If you don't have focus, you are going to be following everybody else. You're going to be like the herd. And so strategic ignorance is one of the things that you can do to get control over what you're doing. The next principle I want to talk about is called selective attention. Now, if you have a certain car or you're looking to buy a certain car, you will notice that as you're driving around, you're going to see the car that you're driving or the car that you want to buy. And why? Because you are now giving attention. It's confirmation bias. That's another psychological term. So it's confirming that, yes, I'm driving this car and I'm seeing many cars like mine, or I want a new car, I want a new Tesla, and so I'm seeing more of them. And you start seeing more and more and more, and you can't even stop it. But the key here is that you are now selectively giving your attention to the things you want, and you are attracting them to you. And this is the kind of thing that happens. You could be in a room full of people and somebody shouts your name over the speaker and all the noise, and you hear your name. Selective attention. You can hear your name. You're tuned into that. So you have this selective attention working for you already, so why not use it to your advantage and give your attention only to the things that are going to move you forward. So distraction is what's getting in your way. So if you're going to have selective attention, then you need to limit the amount of distraction. You need to shut off the social media, shut off your phone. You need to turn things off, put it on airplane mode. Take your phone, put it on airplane mode, put it face down, leave it in another room. That's a way to create some friction. As in Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about creating some friction. Least amount of friction is going to cause you to get the thing that you want to have done, which is, if you need to focus, you take your phone, put it on airplane mode, put it face down, leave it in another room. That way you can focus on what you're doing and get it done. Every day you have 24 hours. You have all day, just like everybody else. You have the same amount of time as everybody else. But some people get a lot of things done. You really only have 3 to 5 hours of focused productivity. So you need to focus your attention in those 3 hours. Whatever the time of day is that you have the most energy and the most inspiration and motivation, that's when you tap into that focus and get things done. Short little sprints. You could do 60 minutes of focus, take a little break, another 60 minutes of focus, take a little break, and then a 30-minute break. And then come back and do another 60, and then 30 minutes break. So you can take your business and your life and set up these kinds of patterns and have a selective focus on what you're doing. Give only attention to the things that you want instead of letting distraction and things pull you away. Life is always going to be happening to you. Jack Canfield talked about that. The world is always going to be whirling around us, and you are going to be responding to it. You're going to be reacting to it. Instead of doing that, you put your focus, you put some blinders on, and you only focus on what you want and get it done. That's the key here, is that if you can give your attention to the things that you want, then you are going to get what you want, and then you're going to feel good, and you'll do more of those things. If you let the world throw challenges and problems and situations at you, then you're going to be reacting to them, and you're going to be dealing with what? The urgent instead of the important. And as you deal with more urgencies, then the important stuff gets pushed off, and you keep realizing at the end of your day, end of your week, end of your month, that you have not dealt with the important. And it's because the urgent things keep coming up, and you keep reacting to them, but you don't know how to get off that treadmill. You're on this feedback loop of dealing with the urgent, and you keep attracting more urgent stuff because you're distracted and you're not focused. And it's just going to keep repeating itself, and it becomes a habit. And after a while, you just think this is just the way it is. I'm on a subway of sorts, and I'm traveling, and the door opens, and I deal with a bunch of problems, and then the door closes, and I get to the next stop, and the door opens, and I deal with a bunch of problems, and then I go to the next stop, and that's the way it is. And it's constant issues. There are people that I work with that are psychologists. They're psychologists to their team, and they're helping them all the time, and you don't need to be a psychologist. You're a leader. You're a business leader. You're somebody who's taking the lead and showing people how to do things, and so you don't need to be a psychologist to them. They need to be self-accountable and responsible. And so that's again selective attention. You need to give attention to only the things that matter, and everybody else is going to have their own backbone and do what they need to do and get it done. And the third principle is called the Totalitarian Principle. And basically, anything that is forbidden becomes compulsory. What it means is that if you don't create rules for something to stop something from happening, it will happen. So if you don't have clear rules so that something doesn't happen, it will happen. And so how do you get control over that? If you don't have rules for your phone and your social media and for all the distractions that come your way, what's going to happen? Your environment is going to control you. You're not controlling it. If your environment is chaotic and you have all sorts of things in your space and in your way, and it's chaotic all the time, guess what? You're trying to move through that environment and get things done, and it's a distraction. And that's not very effective. So you need to have your environment set up so that it works for you. And you need to have systems set up so that you don't get confused and conflicted. Otherwise, you're going to do what's forbidden, right? And it's going to be there right in front of you. So here's the thing. If you want to make changes in your business, in your life, then you have to have an environment that supports it. You have to create this environment. You have to establish an environment that works for you and that is going to help you to focus and get things done and remove distractions. And this totalitarian principle is designed so that you can get ahead of yourself and you think about what you need to do and get done. If you think about it, here's the thing. If you think about a magnet has a pull, right? So it has a pull, and let's say you're the metal plate. So here's the magnet. It's got a pull, and let's say social media is the magnet, right? And you're over here, you're the metal plate. Well, guess what? That metal plate is going to get sucked to that magnet no matter what, right? So, you think what you have to do is you have to separate yourself enough from it. So as the further away you go from the magnet, the less likely you will get sucked into it and you'll stick to it. So that's the separation. So simple little friction, like I was mentioning earlier, having your phone in another room and airplane mode, things like that can make a big difference. My number one rule is that when it comes time for family time, I take my phone, turn on airplane mode, put it face down, I leave it in my office. That's enough friction for me to have to go back to my office and get it and look at things because of habit. It's not worth it. I don't even want to do it. And really, it's just a few steps. I have to go up the stairs and get it. So that's enough friction so that you don't get sucked in. Here's the thing. People are trying to work. The other thing about focus is people are trying to work too many hours. We're trying to work so many hours and get so much done. And we have a laundry list of things to do. We have a to-do list of 10 or more items. You know, if you have more than 3, you have none. That's the principle. There's a great quote about that. And so you need to only have 3 things you're focusing on. Those are the important, those are the priorities. You get those things done, check them off, and that's going to move your life and your business much further than it will be to try to do 10. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 10 items. You're not going to get them done at the end of your day. You're going to look at your list and you're going to move them over to the next day, but you're going to feel bad because you didn't do all the things you thought you should. Because we always think we can do more in a short period of time than we can over a long period of time. So we stack up this big long to-do list. We think we can do all these things, but meanwhile, we're not going to get them done. It's a recipe for failure. So we're playing a system where we're going to lose. If you want to play to win, just 3 things. 3 highly important things. Get them early, done early in the day, early in the week, get them done. Focus. Focus, 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 focus. Get them done. So, here's the thing. Like, if we want to look at how we're focusing or getting distracted, then we actually need to realize that our environment is causing a lot of problems. So if we don't set up our environment the way we want and set up the conditions for that, as an example, my phone right now, only 2 notifications, text messages and phone calls. And even the phone calls are limited to people that I know. So everything else goes to voicemail. So limited attention. People cannot get me unless they call me and I know them, or they text me. And the voice message says that if they've reached me and they got my voicemail and it's important to text me, now they have to make a decision. Should they text me? Is it important? And if they do and it's not important, then know what happens. It just gets deleted. So here's the thing. If you're going to focus your attention, you need to apply these 3 principles. Keep your focus at your highest priority. Focus is today's IQ. Focus is going to help you to get you where you want to go. Without focus, you are going to be distracted. And everything else is the distraction that you don't have as your 3 items for your day. Everything else is a distraction. Don't let it in. Unless it's going to help you accomplish one of your 3 things, it gets put off. And it may be put off entirely. What you can do is practice saying no. As soon as something comes in, an opportunity, a question, an email, say no. Say no right away. And actually don't even open up emails unless you're going to respond to them. Don't open them, just leave them, and when you're ready to respond to them, you open them and respond. You open and close. Close the loop right away. Don't go to your mailbox and pick up the mail and then plan to look at it later. You pick it up, open it, deal with it, recycle whatever you need to do, and take everything else and handle it. Always take that kind of approach. Focus your attention. Get things done easily and efficiently. Have rules around what you're doing. Have standards. If you don't have rules and standards, guess what? Anything can happen and you will do anything. And you will get distracted and you will go off track. Let's stay on track by focusing and having rules and standards for how you do things. Because the problem is that, like I was saying, people are not managing themselves and not looking at their environment as a way of controlling their behavior. And so if you don't take time to focus and recovery, by the way, is a huge thing. If you don't take time to recover because you're working long hours and you think you have this massive to-do list that you need to get done, you're going to be forever working long hours and feel tired and feel exhausted. There's research that shows that when you recover, you are more effective. It's better to actually recover and then come back and do more of your focused work. If you're going to have focused productivity, do not work long hours and then try to recover hard. That doesn't work. You need to have focused attention, little sprints, and then some recovery. And the more we learn about recovery, the more we realize that that's where the magic happens. It's like musical notes. The music is between the notes. So we need to recover. We cannot go 24 hours working straight. We're going to wear down. Our willpower is going to wear down. We're going to get tired and we're going to lose focus. And as you lose focus, guess what? What's the point? And then you're distracted, you're getting nothing done, you're not going to feel good, and you don't get what you want. So, as I was saying, these 3 principles, you can apply them, and they're easier than you think. They're easier than you think, and you can apply them today and start working on them, get more focus, get things done, and stay focused. And if you want the Focus Productivity Planner, which I've created based on the 12-week year, it's going to be in the link below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.